Quickly just talk about a little bit of the news of the day. We're focusing a lot on the coronavirus. We've just had the special session still going on up in Carson City. There's a lot of discussion about how Nevada should respond, handle, move forward with the coronavirus. How would you characterize the response, not only on a local level, but as a potential congressman on a federal level?
Well, I think Trump is doing about as good as anybody could have done. This COVID virus was unprecedented. I don't know that anybody or this whole world has experienced anything like this. And so I think he's done probably as good as anybody could have expected. I mean, everybody actually, whether it's local or federal, this is all new territory here. So we got to learn on the job.
So are you're satisfied with how the benefits have been handled in Washington, how the testing has been handled in Washington?
Yeah, pretty much. Of course, I would like the benefits to come out more, and I'd like to get politics out of the way. Right now, the bill is being held up for political reasons, and people are suffering, and I don't like that. I think we just need to get politics out of the way, and let's get help to the people, because this COVID virus was a disaster for our economy. And we really need to do everything we can to minimize that. And so we need to get the politicians out of the way, and let's just think about the people. And also China needs to be held accountable, whether they did this with malice or accident. They tried to cover it up, and we definitely need to hold them accountable for what's going on there.
Is it potentially, if you're in Washington, going to be hard to hold China accountable, considering it's possible that a vaccine could come from China? There are financial aspects of the Chinese economy that are so intertwined with what we do in the U.S. How do you balance accountability with the economy?
Well, I'm sure that we have methods, and I don't know all of them right now. I'm sure that President Trump knows what the options are, but I would be willing to explore and consider whatever options we have to hold them accountable.
We both know how much the pandemic has affected Las Vegas and the Valley and the tourism industry. What would you do if elected to try and make things right, try and get Las Vegas and broadly your constituents back on track? And I guess more by extension, how does it differ from your opponent?
Well, first of all, I would like to get our economy open as fast as possible and as safely as possible. And the difference between myself and my opponent is I am a free market type businessman, and economy is very important to me. I think I know how to the policies that will affect the economy positively. And my opponent is a socialist, so he wants more government, more taxes, and bills and policies that kill our economy. So that's the difference between he and I. I'm a free market type businessman, and he's wants more government, more oppression, more regulations on businesses that kills the economy, and I'm the opposite of that.
The stimulus recovery money that's being tossed around from Washington, D.C. If you're talking about free market and a conservative approach, is there a point where there's too much that comes from Washington to help the economy and specifically Nevada recover?
Yeah, that's very concerning to me, because I'm kind of a deficit hawk. I am very concerned about our deficit. And, but like I said earlier, this is an unprecedented event that's happened. And we've got people that are just severely affected out there, here in Nevada, that concerns me greatly. And we have to do whatever we can within whatever the federal government can do to help these people out right now. So it definitely is a concern, and we need to have people in there that are not socialists, that are business minded, that have run businesses, that have been an executive and had to make critical thinking decisions. And that's what we need in there right now to navigate this minefield, because that's what it is. And like I said, it's unprecedented.
To be clear, you're running against a Democrat, not a socialist, right?
Well, I think he's a socialist.
But okay,
He votes 94%
thinking he's someone and someone thinking what someone is a certain way and someone actually being that way, aren't they two different things?
Oh, it could be, but he votes 94% with AOC, the squad, AOC, Tlaib, who's the other ones, Presley or something like that, and Omar. So he votes 94% with them. And they definitely are not free market like I am. They are socialists.
Switching gears a little bit to the issue of immigration, Daca, there's been some movement on that from the White House on this recently. What is your position on extending or restricting Daca moving forward, and what should be done at the border?
I think that I'm agreeing with what President Trump is so far, what his policies are with Daca, giving them a pathway forward. But I don't want amnesty. I don't mind making them legal in some way where they can get a work visa or something like that. In other words, the parents of the dreamers, because I don't want them to be deported and have to leave their kids and that kind of thing. But I want to make sure that I do not want amnesty for them. They can't jump in line for a pathway to citizenship, that type of thing. They can't take advantage of our health care and welfare and that type of thing. They have to work and pay taxes. So I'm kind of okay with that, where President Trump's headed with that.
Just if quickly to backtrack though, it seems like you're suggesting that some of the actions taken earlier this year, and it seems like such a long time ago, with the crackdown on the border and I'm trying to say it in the most proper way, but some of the images we saw on the border this year with the people who were put into the facilities on the border, you're familiar.
You mean like Obama did back in, when he was in office?
Fair enough. Yeah. I'm not here to compare necessarily, but right. Do you subscribe to that method of?
No, absolutely not. It's a mess down there, and the policies. Not from recently, from way back, is what's driven that. We need a huge overhaul of our immigration policies everywhere. And I will be on board to consider, whatever is humane and for anybody. But I do not want illegal immigration. We need to stop illegal immigration.
And so how do we do that?
Well, just kind of like what President Trump is doing. He's building a wall. He's putting more enforcements on the border. He's actually getting Mexico to participate, whether they really want to or not. They are helping. So the situation is better down there now than it was a year ago or so. And we just have to get on top of it. And building the wall is very important.
Just a couple last questions here. One that has a lot of impact, I think, here in Nevada regarding public lands. The sale, the preservation, that's a battle that's been around for as long as you and I can probably remember. What should be the approach from the government moving forward when it comes to the sale, the preservation? How do you handle, especially in Nevada, our public lands?
I want to preserve our public lands for the people. I'm not for blocking people from going on them, like some of the BLM, the Bureau of Land Management, has done recently, or some of what they want to do actually. So I'm for preserving that, and I don't want to sell it. I don't want to take these lands away from people that want to use them.
Okay. So then how does that align with expansions at Great Basin or other natural areas, other federal areas that have been a sticking point in Washington for the length of the Trump administration?
You mean like preserving them? So are you referring to blocking them off and then President Trump opening them back up. That
Just
kind of thing.
yeah. Yes, essentially.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with what he's done. I want them open for us to use.
Okay, I apologize if I didn't articulate that the proper way. Final question, something that was actually discussed, voted on recently at this special session. President Trump addressed it yesterday, threatening to sue Nevada over the mail-in ballots for the upcoming general election. Do you think that what Nevada is doing is a proper way to handle the general election in November? And are you concerned about a potential lawsuit from the president you support?
You know, I'm not sure how he can sue. I don't know what grounds he can sue on, but I am concerned about the mail-in balloting. It's very hard to do this. It's very complicated. I've seen reports and articles about states that have done this, and they warn that if you've never done this before, it's going to take a few cycles to get this right. So I think that doing this in a hurry like we did is a detriment to our voting process. And I believe we should do it the regular way, where we actually have the polling sites, the early voting sites, and we can do it in a safe manner. I don't have to tell you, there people go into Home Depot and supermarkets every day, and we practice social distancing, wear the mask, that type of thing. I think we could vote this November very, very safely, and we wouldn't have any issues with that. With the mail-in balloting, I don't like what's happened. I don't think they should have passed that, but it is what it is, and we have to deal with it.
I believe I'm out of questions. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, just, I'm running for Congressional District 4. I'll definitely be, there's a huge difference between my opponent and me. Like I said, I am a constitutionalist. I believe in our Constitution 100%. And I believe that, like I said, he is more inclined to vote for socialist policies, and he votes 94% with the squad. He might as well be the fifth column of the squad.
Let me ask you this real quick, and forgive me for asking, and this goes for anyone who's running for anything right now. How are you going to debate him? How do you, given the circumstances, how do you intend to debate him?
I don't know. You have
have you talked about that with the other side at all?
No, not yet. He probably doesn't even know I exist. So, but yeah, no, I would be open. I know that there have been a few people that have reached out, not the other side, not my opponent's side, but organizations that have said, "Hey, would you do a debate?" And I said, "Sure." So, but I don't know how you do it actually. So I'm open for suggestions.
You and me both. Yeah. Jim, I appreciate the time. Good luck to you, and I'm sure we'll chat as we get closer to the general election. Appreciate it, sir.
Great. Thank you very much.